Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is July 19th, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 140 of me answering your immigration related questions. As you can see, I have all your comments pulled up in front of me. As always, before beginning this video, I'm going to mention, as I mentioned in every video, I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS, and of course, the Department of State with their visa bulletin, which we do have a brand new visa bulletin that came out just recently for August 2023. I have the video on it, comparing it to the previous issue of the visa bulletin. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. Okay, so let's start with the very first question, comment from H Digitally GV3PO. Hello, sir. What is the process of scheduling appointment date for interview for immigrant visa I-730? Whether NVC or consular section, Embassy of Beneficiaries Country, schedule interview date. In inquiry mail, they have said Embassy to Nepal. Currently, there's no appointment available. When appointment date is available, you will get email notification with detailed instructions for your interview. H Digitally, thank you very much for your question. So yes, it is the embassy in the country, it's US embassy in the country of the beneficiary where they will be doing the interview. They are actually responsible for scheduling the interview date because it is up to them. And it's a little bit weird to hear that they don't have any appointments available. I'm thinking they might just maxed out the limit of how far ahead they can schedule their appointments for immigrant visas specifically, because you have to understand, for non-immigrant it's a little bit of a different section. They probably have those appointments available like 3, maybe even more times a week, but whenever it comes to immigrant visas, because it's much less of the attendance, I guess, for the interviews, if I can say that. Obviously, they schedule it with a little bit more less frequency compared to the non-immigrant visas. So of course, if they have scheduled, let's say 6 months ahead, and their schedule is busy 6 months ahead, then yeah, you would probably get a message saying that they are not, they don't have any available appointments just yet, just because they cannot schedule it that far ahead. So really at this point there isn't much you can do. The best thing to do would be give them another month, maybe 2 months, and call them again, reach out to them again, to the US Embassy in Nepal, and ask and say, hey, I'm calling, I have immigrant visa that is already available. I was already documentarily qualified with NVC. I want to know if my appointment was scheduled. And sometimes they say we can't give you that information, but in some situations they can say, oh yes, your appointment was scheduled, it's that far ahead, and for a peace of mind. So that's really most likely the case. But to simply answer your question, yes, it is the US Embassy that is responsible for scheduling the appointment. Okay, so let me post a response here, and we're going to move on to the next comment from Fidel Elvira. In my last hearing, I had to come by myself because the lawyer at the time decided that I didn't need him, and I got deportation order from the judge. Wow. And the last one that appealed didn't challenge the judge's decision, and whatever he sent, I never got a copy of it, and I got dismissed. Now I have to go to sign it, and I'm afraid I may get deported. Thank you for sharing. Wow, Fidel Elvira, I'm sorry you're dealing with this and had a bad experience with attorneys. Actually, I've been in a very, very similar situation where the attorney, well, he didn't not decide to show up, but he decided to be really, really late, and I ended up going through a master hearing without an attorney completely. And then actually he was mad at me because I went in for a master hearing, so he expected me to miss the hearing because he did not show up on time. So yeah, it's unfortunately, you have to understand that whenever it comes to stuff like this that is business, then you have to be prepared for things that come with business. And that's what you get. When people are doing things for the money, then they are already not doing it out of good intentions. And it's really strange to admit it, because how are you gonna do things not for the money ever? Because we all have the families to feed, right? We all have bills to pay and stuff like this. But that's what happens. You start out of good intentions because you want to help people, and slowly you start making money out of it, and then more and more and more, and then money become your master, and that's it. You forgot your good intentions, and even situations like yours. Yeah, so somebody is going through an important process. Well, I think you can do it by yourself, and I'm not gonna show up, even though I'm representing you and you are paying me huge amounts of money. That's one of the reasons why I started this channel, is because first of all, I've been through situations like this myself, but because I want to encourage people to take more responsibility into their hands and stay on top of their cases, because nobody will care about your case as much as you do yourself. And if you are not in control, as much as possible in control of it, all the paperwork, all the dates, all the hearings, all the background checks, all the interviews, if you're not on top of that, then expect things to go wrong. If you trust it into somebody else's hands and think they will do everything for you, expect it to go wrong. Be prepared for it to go wrong. And I'm saying it out of my own experience. So Fidel, hopefully everything goes well for you, and you're not gonna be dealing with much of the tough stuff like this anymore. But if you do, you're always welcome to this channel to ask any questions if you have, and I'll be happy to address them. I'm gonna post my response here, even though I didn't really answer anything, but just kind of commented on your comment. But just so you can always come back here and ask any questions. Okay, moving further to Patty Navarro, 4128. Hi sir, hope you're doing well. Patty, thank you very much. Was hoping if you could help me. Currently from the Philippines, and my husband is in the US. I've been submitting my birth certificate for weeks now, and NVC keeps on rejecting it, saying please replace this with an acceptable birth certificate from a correct issuing authority. The doc that I've been submitting is a legal document from the correct issuing authority. I don't understand what else do I need to do for them to accept this. This is my immigrant visa. Please help me. Okay, Patty, I'm going to ask you for a follow-up question. So in Philippines, the birth certificate that is issued, is it written in what is it? Latin, I think. Yes, it's English alphabet is Latin. I believe, if I'm correct. I might be wrong. I'm horrible at this, but can a person who speaks English, can they read the names, all the dates, the issuing authority, so far so forth? Or is it in a different alphabet? I'm assuming Philippines, they have the different kind of alphabet than it is English. If that's the case, then what most likely NVC needs from you is a certified translation of the birth certificate. And I would probably just do it, and actually you can reach out to them and explain the situation and ask them what they need from you. But I am pretty sure that this is a problem that you're having, because I was dealing with practically the same problem. It was actually a marriage certificate for my parents that I have submitted, and even though there is in Latin, so an English speaking person can actually read it, they still didn't accept it, and I had to submit a certified translation. Basically, not translating anything, just translating the names of the issuing authority and so far so forth, translated into English. Certified translation is a pretty straightforward. Basically, what you're doing is you can translate it yourself in a very simple format. Just open up a Word document, have your birth certificate here on this side, and then in the Word document, just type up the translation. You can find the examples of it. If you Google it, you can find the examples of it, but I might actually do a video on how to make a certified translation on this channel. And then what you do is you find literally anyone who speaks both languages, English and I guess Philippines, if I'm correct. Probably not correct, but language of Philippines. And then they just sign their name in the bottom saying, I certify, my name is this and this, I speak both fluently, I speak English and I speak Philippines, and I certify that this is the accurate translation. And then they put their contact information in there, and then they sign it and date it. That's it. This is a certified translation. Literally anybody can do it. Your friend who speaks both English and Philippines, as long as they speak both languages, they can do it. I'm thinking that most likely is the problem, because really, like, what do they expect? What other kind of issuing authority? So I'm thinking that's the issue right there. If you want to confirm it, if you want to double check it, you can reach out to the NVC through a public inquiry, and I'm gonna actually show you how to do that. So if you click on the link in the description of this video that says Visa Bulletin for August 2023, you will have this page open. This is the official government website of the Department of State, specifically for their Bureau of Consular Affairs. So from this page, you're gonna click on Contact Us right here at the very top. And when it loads, sometimes it takes a long time, like right now. It takes extremely long time this time. Okay, so we're gonna click on US Visa Contacts right here. And then we're gonna scroll down, you will see email public inquiry form. Click on this, and I'll put the link in the comment, but for everyone who wants to know how to send the public inquiry to NVC, this will be helpful. Online immigrant visas inquiries only, public inquiry form right here. And that's it. This is your public inquiry form. You will put the NVC case number, beneficiary's full name, beneficiary's date of birth, petitioner's full name, who you are, beneficiary, petitioner, email address, and then in your inquiry say, hey, you know, this is my case, my name is this, I'm a beneficiary, I'm trying to submit a document to become documentarily qualified, it's a birth certificate, and I keep getting the rejection notice that it's not from the acceptable issuing facility. And you know, what do you mean? Like, do you know what issuing facility, issuing authority of birth certificates here in the Philippines? I doubt it. Let me know, please, the exact reason why it's being rejected, and most likely they will tell you that you just need to provide a certified translation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post my comment here, and I will put the link for the public inquiry form, and hopefully you can get your problem resolved and become documentarily qualified. Okay, moving further to Mohammed Ja 7217 says, thanks brother, you're very welcome. I'm glad you found this helpful. Moving further to J Rodriguez 12202, good day sir, any update on USCIS removing the COVID vaccine for AOS through spouse? Unfortunately, no, not yet. Unfortunately, they still require the COVID vaccination as part of all the vaccination lists that they have for medical examination for the adjustment of status, which is ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. But it's weird. But sometimes I think, and don't think I'm like some kind of conspiracy theorist or anything, but nobody thinks about these situations whenever it comes to, you know, immigrants who are, you know, going through the process legally, going through these medical examinations, going through these interviews and background checks. All right, nobody talks about it. You never hear it on the news. It's completely, you know, under the rug. You know, if you open up the news, the only kind of immigration they talk about is the one where they jump over the border in Mexico. That's it. That's the kind of immigration they talk about. And it's kind of sad because, you know, because of this lack of attention, you have now this issue with the vaccination that is no longer required for literally anyone, is still required for people who are legally immigrating into the United States of America, legally going through the adjustment of status, which is, you know, it raises the question, why? Maybe they have still, you know, a whole bunch of that vaccine that is left that they don't know what to do with it, and they need to sell it. So now they're, you know, selling the remains. That's just me going off completely on whole different rabbit hole here. But anyway, unfortunately, no. I also stay on top of it. As soon as it is removed, I will definitely make a video on it. But no, it still is enacted, and I know a lot of people on this channel actually who are subscribed to this channel, they are waiting for this to be removed, including myself personally. I am waiting for it to remove because I have a I-130 petition. So as soon as it comes out, I will update everyone. Hopefully it will be soon, and I would recommend, as I always recommend, reach out to your local elected officials and let them know that this is ridiculous and it needs to be removed. your congressmen, your senators, everyone you can, because obviously nobody talks about it. Okay, moving further to Kenan Menku C9873. Hi, I have a question. I have to change my visa status J1 to J2. Okay, so they want two fee that are I-539 fee, yes, $370, and biometrics fee, $85. Yes, how can I pay this fee? And where can I send my documents? Thanks a lot. Okay, thank you for your question. So let's take a look at USCIS website, forms. I'm gonna go to the form 539. I'm pretty sure it is available online. Let's see. Yes, it is available online. So if you can file it online, I would highly recommend filing it online because it makes it much easier, prevents a lot of mistakes, and it's much faster. Because once you pay, and you will pay online, so once you fill out the application, once you submit all the documents, you don't even need to worry where to send it, because once you pay, right after you submit everything, that's it. It already goes exactly where it needs to go. So I would highly recommend filling it out online because it makes it much easier. All your questions are answered immediately. Where to pay, where to send, right there in the online profile. But if for some reason you still have to file it by mail, then in the instructions you will find where to pay, and it's literally just a check. You can combine both of the fees in one check, and then there mention that it is I-539 that you are sending it to. That's really it, pretty straightforward. And then where to file, you will find the filing addresses here. So let's see if they have a separate for J1. Let's see, filing federal West principal form, petition non-immigrant, no, non-immigrants and their dependents. There you go, this is the one. So if you live in, let's see, J non-immigrants and their dependents, there you go, here it is. If you live in one of these states, you will send it to Dallas, Texas. Or if you're sending it with FedEx, UPS, or DHL, you will send it to Louisville, Texas. But if you live in one of these states right here, then you will be sending it to Elgin Lockbox in Illinois. Carroll Stream, Illinois, if you're sending with USCIS, with USPS, I'm sorry, to USCIS. Or if you're sending with FedEx, UPS, DHL, you will be sending it to their address in Elgin, Illinois directly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this link right here so you can immediately find it, so you don't have to search for it. But once again, I'm going to say I highly recommend filling it out online because it prevents a lot of mistakes. It makes it much easier. It makes it much faster. Okay, let's move on to the next question coming from Jack Deep Bola 4796. COVID is just an excuse, and in fact the COVID was created to create visa backlog so that people could not immigrate. And you know, honestly, we're going on a lot of conspiracy today. I don't know what's going on, but you know, these days I would not be surprised with anything, honestly. The way things are, unfortunately, it's really sad, but I would not be surprised. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with anything. Okay, moving further to the next one from Leto Moses 5532 F1 Guyana, September 2015. Okay, straightforward, I like it. Let's move to the visa bulletin. Take a look. F1 all chargeability, we're going to look at the graph A, January 2015, and your priority date is in September 2015, so you're roughly looking at another 8 months before the availability of the immigrant visa. I'm assuming you're already documentarily qualified because you're really close to the availability of the immigrant visa, unless you had any delays. But roughly 8 more months if everything keeps on moving, if we don't have any additional accumulating backlog, which we probably will, so don't be surprised if it takes a little bit longer. That's why I always say it's rough estimates, but as of right now, roughly 8 more months. Okay, moving further to the next one from Jane Maria 5630. Sir, if F2A case is already documentarily qualified, how long should I wait for interview? I am from India. Jane, thank you very much for your question. So it really depends on your priority date, because it's really hard to judge from simply being documentarily qualified to the availability of the immigrant visa, but I will do my best in this. But if you can, let me know in a follow-up comment your priority date. Let me know the priority date, let me know the chargeability area, once again India, and then let me know your family preference category, once again F2A, so that I remember, because I'll most likely forget that, if you just let me know the priority date. But I'm gonna take a look at the graph B, which is when the NVC portal opens up so that you can become documentarily qualified. For F2A, you see it is current. So from being current, which means that once USCIS approves the case, approves I-130, transfers it to NVC, NVC immediately opens up the portal. As of right now, it says current. However, on the graph A, which is the availability of the immigrant visa, if we look at the F2A, right now, the priority date that is current for the availability of the immigrant visa for India is October 2017, which is roughly 6 years. So 6 years of backlog. So from becoming documentarily qualified to the availability of the immigrant visa, 6 years is not a real number, because most of the times NVC, they don't open the portal so early before the availability of the immigrant visa. Why? Because the documents that you're becoming documentarily qualified with are the same documents that you will be going through the interview. And they don't want that to be different too much. You can have some updates, but in 6 years, a lot of things can change. So they usually don't do it. So I would say for F2A specifically, it's really, really hard as of right now, because we had some big changes for the F2A graph A as of August 2023 visa bulletin issue. So it's really hard to tell without the priority date. So let me know what the priority date is for you, and I'll try to give you a little bit more details on it. Okay, moving further to Puv Andre Jansen 2192. Hi, my daughter is over 21 and we are US citizens. Her priority date is January 3, 2017. She can use the date of filing or adjust status. I know she will not get the green card because the final action date is not current. However, can she apply for the EAD? My question, does she get the EAD only when the final action date is current? Thanks. Okay, great question. Thank you for asking. So whenever it comes to Employment Authorization Document, once she gets her green card, that's it. She don't even need to worry about the Employment Authorization Document, because with the green card, you already have the right to legally work in the United States of America as a permanent resident. You don't need the Employment Authorization Document. Employment Authorization Document is only for those people that are on some kind of temporary immigration status, like for example, asylee, refugee, some kind of work visas. Those are the people that are applying for Employment Authorization Document. So on the plus side, you don't need to worry about the Employment Authorization Document at all. On the downside is that no, she cannot apply for Employment Authorization Document regardless as of right now, until she gets her permanent residence, which again, you do have to wait, unfortunately, for her priority date to become current before that comes to fruition. Let's just say that. Okay, so let me pause the answer here. We're gonna move on to the next comment from Litiagami9078. Hello, I see that me and commenter have a similar priority date, December 5, 2015, and you said there will be a 10 to 11 month wait. Are there any chances of things speeding and becoming current sooner? I'm also in the Caribbean. So thank you very much for your question. So, honestly, I don't see any hope for anything speeding up. Is it possible that it may become slower and more backlog? Yes. Is it possible that it might speed up? Also yes, but much less chance that it's going to start speeding up. Because what my hopes were, and I'll explain why I say it. My hopes were, whenever we had the downtime during the whole pandemic, they closed completely. They didn't issue any immigrant visas, so we had a complete downtime during which there was only accumulation of backlog. I was hoping that once everything opens back up, we will see rapid, not increase, but rapid, catching up to more current on the visa bulletin, to being more current on the visa bulletin, because they were closed for so long, and now everything is open, and now they're starting, to process. The interviews are being scheduled, the immigrant visas are being issued. So now the numbers, because they were just growing with the backlog, now they start going down, every month seeing 3-4 months movement, because finally everything is open. It's no longer downtime, no longer accumulation. And I thought we will see that back in May. We are already in August visa bulletin, and we only see things getting worse. And as of August, if you haven't seen that August 2023, this video right here for the visa bulletin, check it out. Especially if you're in F2A category, check it out, because things are not looking good at all. And you have to keep in mind that F2A was a category that was current. And now we have 6 years of backlog on the F2A, which to me doesn't really make a lot of sense, because I thought we would get, a year and a half, 2 years of backlog accumulated on F2A because of the downtime that we had during the pandemic. Okay, I can understand that. But yes, we had that 2-3 years, which it was showing in the previous visa bulletin, but now another 3 years added as of August 2023 visa bulletin. That really doesn't make any sense to me. I don't have any explanation to it. I can say, this and this, but I'm not a government agency. I don't work for the government. So what I'm giving is really, predictions, estimations on what the government gives us, the information that government gives us. And what they gave us in August 2023 visa bulletin, it really makes no sense. I don't know where that 6-year backlog all of a sudden came from, and why it is 6 years and not, 2 years. I can understand, again, because we were down for 2 years. 6 years, now that's a little bit, out of thin air. I have no idea. So it's really, really hard to tell, and things are only looking worse. So I don't think it's going to get better, unfortunately, and I'm very sorry. I'm finishing up this video with some dark whatever, but again, to me it's also personal, because I also have the I-130 petition, and things are not looking good. I don't want to give anyone false promises, false hopes, and just so that people come and watch, and I want people to realize that it's slowly deteriorating and getting worse. Okay, moving further to Shinuda Bekid. Shinuda, thank you for another comment. As you can see, this right here means one of the top commenters on this channel, and this right here means that Shinuda is publicly subscribed to this channel. I appreciate you, Shinuda. Hopefully you have better questions for me, and I can finish up this video on a more brighter note than the previous comment. So Shinuda says, thank you so much for always replying to all. You're very welcome. You help a lot. I'm glad I can. So did you check the new rule about applying before the 1-year eligibility for green card? Yes, it says it's okay as long as the applicant haven't been picked up before the 1-year time, and you know how late the picking is. Yes, Shinuda, 100%, that is correct. So that means that still it's 1 year, okay? So 1-year rule is still in place. It has not been removed. And honestly, to save, a few months here and there, I would not recommend sending the application beforehand. Why? Because I personally did that once. It wasn't with the adjustment of status. It was with the Employment Authorization Document. It was a different situation. But it said exactly the same thing, that you can submit your application a month or whatever before, this and that. And I did it, and then I got a denial. So I ended up wasting about 6 months for absolutely no reason, because I wanted to save 1 month, less than 30 days. So honestly, I would not recommend doing it. I would recommend waiting at least about 2 weeks after the whole year elapsed, and then sending your application. Why? Because you want to make sure that you're 100% that 1 year has gone through. Because if you're trying to save a month or 2 months, sending the application early, you are risking losing 6 months on this back and forth, where they send your application back and tell you, oh, you didn't wait the whole year, and now you have to send it back. And I would not recommend doing it. Again, this is just my personal recommendation. Obviously you can do as you think is best, but I would not recommend doing it. And another question is, so which documents as an asylee I need to submit? I-94, the asylum response letter, vaccines envelope, ID, photographs, checks for fees, anything else? No, not really. I don't think so. So I'm pretty sure you have to submit, but you know what? Let me actually give you the instructions, because there you will be able to find all of that information. So I believe it's 485, if I'm bad with numbers, but I believe it is 485, application to register permanent resident or adjust status. I may not be that bad with numbers after all. So here you go. So checklist for required initial evidence. You can check out the checklist, but honestly, I would recommend going by the instructions. It is much better. Here they are right there in the PDF document. Read through them, and they describe all of the documents that you will be needing to submit with your application package. But yes, what you've listed is really the most important stuff, obviously, besides the application. But again, all of the information you can find here on this page, which is the official government source from USCIS. And I'm gonna post the answer right here, put the link. And I think on this, we're gonna finish up this video. Because we're already over 30 minutes. So I want to say thank you everyone for all your comments, all your questions. Hopefully my answers were helpful. If you have any follow-up questions or comments, just make sure to submit them in a separate comment. Don't respond to my comment within your comment, because YouTube does not send me those notifications for whatever reason. So thank you again for your time. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.